set? Would that help? Okay, cool. All righty. So I welcome you. Is anybody here for the first time? Maybe for the second time? Maybe for the third time? Oh gosh, we're all old hands at this then. Hot dog. Well, guess what? We're going to open with our opening. The mic might not be on. Okay. There we go. Check. Oh, that's so much better. Thank you. Where would we be without Lauren's brilliance? Can we give Lauren an applause for absolutely doing all the most beautiful things in the world? She's already busy trying to figure something else out. So here we go. We're going to start with our opening affirmation, and that is, God is the only power and the only presence there is. God is right where I am. I live and move and have my being in God. God's being moves through me and manifests itself in what I'm doing. The good that I desire, I already possess. That which I ask for, I now receive. That which I want and need, I now have. And so it is. Wonderful. Okay, now we're going to have our congregational song, Love is My Decision. And you can stand and you can wiggle and we can get into this. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. My love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Yes, love is my decision. It's my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. Yes, it is. It's my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to lighten my load. Oops, dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Yes, love is my decision. It's my decision right here and now. We're going to tag it. Yes, my decision right here and now. Yes, hot dog. It was very good. There's your affirmation for the day. Okay. All righty. So now we're going to have our announcements. And Susan is valiantly in the kitchen cooking, so I'm going to be reading those. We have many events that are happening in this month of September, and I'm going to give you a brief description, but we have a flyer. How many of you received the flyer? The September flyer? Oh, if you haven't received it, let us know. Yeah, the newsletter. I'm sorry, the newsletter. Excuse me, I'm calling it. Okay. And if you haven't, I've got a couple copies out there, but also come up to me or Lainey at the end of the service, give us your email, and we'll send you the newsletter in email form, because that'll give you all the stuff and you'll have it right in front of you. And let's see here. Now, first and foremost, Lainey will be giving a workshop today, right after lunch, from 12 to 1:30 on visioning, and we're going to invite Miss Lainey Clevenger up to speak about her visioning workshop. And the crowd goes wild. Yay!
Yay! Good morning, everybody. The visioning workshop is based on Michael Beckwith's book, Life Visioning. He does a really interesting process. It's not putting pieces of together or pictures out of magazines that you want to have in your life. It's really a quick study overview of your consciousness and how that affects your relationship to God, to the energy that is creative in our lives to manifest what you want to have. This workshop is basically focused on a vision for the church. Since Mary's come, we've kind of riding a wave of prosperity. We've had a generous donation, several, to help us financially. We've had new people come in off the street. I mean, literally off the street, because they walk by and read the marquee, or they've been wondering about us, and somehow the energy just pulls them right on in. So we want to magnify our vision even more of what we want our church home to look like. And I invite you all to come to the workshop. It's after lunch, be in Chafee Hall or the conference room, depending on how many there are. And it's $10 if you want to donate, or if you just want to give me a hug, that's okay too. I take hugs. So I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Yay. She does great visioning, by the way. So you've got to avail yourself to it. Okay. Susan has graciously agreed to move her spiritual discussion group, which is normally on Wednesdays. She's moved it to Tuesdays for the next 8 weeks because I'm going to be teaching a class on Wednesday nights. So Susan's spiritual discussion group will now be on Tuesdays from 6:30 to 7:30. And you can check in with Susan if you want to be a part of it. She'll give you the Zoom link for that. I am going to be teaching an accredited class. Holy smokes, it's been a long time since there's an accredited class here. And so if you're interested in it, this one is dynamite. It's called The Essential Earnest. I'll give you a couple little ideas about what it is. You will gain a new breadth and perspective on the teachings of Ernest Holmes. You will deepen your practice of meditation. You will discover ways of applying science of mind teaching to all the areas of your life. You will explore the intersection between science and religion and what this whole thing is, science of mind. It's a combination of science and religion. We'll go in depth about it. It's 8 weeks long, and the cost is $150. 40 of that goes to the center, the main Mother Center, Centers for Spiritual Living, for a certificate. But there's a sign-up sheet over in Chafee Hall, and I encourage you all to come. We're going to have a great class. It's going to probably be in the conference room, and it's from 6 to 8:30 on Wednesday evenings. It's also going to be on Zoom. So if you say, oh, I can't make it, guess what? You can make it via Zoom. So there you go. Let's see here. Saturday, September 13th, we're going to have a sound bath here with Dennis and Kinoko. I always want to say Pinocchio, but it's Kinoko. And hello, Miss Katie. And our puppy. Hello, there's our resident puppy coming. And on September 18th, Annalise will be doing her own sound bath and Reiki with a dinner called Sound Bites. How many of you have been to Annalise's workshop? Well, we've got at least 2 people here. And you know what? It was fabulous. She's going to do it again once a month from now through November. So hers is going to be, it's in the newsletter, and I believe it's from 6 until 8:30. Okay. A reminder, Michelle Gillette teaches on Fridays from 10 to 11, a gentle stretch and chair yoga. It's fabulous. How many go to that? I know me and Nancy and Nora, it's really fantastic. And you have no idea. You're sitting in a chair and you're reaching and you're doing this, and all of a sudden you go, wow, I can feel that in my body. So it's pretty amazing. And it's fun. She's a blast, and she's an adorable gal. So come and join her in Chafee Hall. A reminder that the events that are available, remember that we read A Science of Mind in the morning from 9 until 9:25, and that's discussing the Science of Mind book and getting more in depth about it with questions and answers and stuff like that. After this, and right after that, we have a meditation that goes for about 15 minutes. And then after the service, we have a prayer circle right up in the front. If you have anything in your mind or heart that you want to deal with, you call out one word and we do a group thing. Remember, there's power in numbers. So you're welcome to join us after that. And of course, we have a fabulous meal next door at Chafee Hall. And the suggested love donation for our meal is $10. But let me tell you, you can't go to Denny's for. I just was at Denny's with some friends a week ago, and we were like, holy cow, just bacon and eggs was like $19. So you go, you know what? We're getting a home cooked meal, which, by the way, Susan wrote it out, and I have it here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Pasta with heirloom tomatoes, roasted veggies, and chicken sausage, a green salad, and a dessert of I can't read the first word, but something in chia seed pudding with assorted pastries. You cannot beat that, and it's all homemade. So please join us for that. And that's our announcements for the day. And now we are going to have our meditative music, which is "And So It Is." God is all there is. I am one with the Spirit. I realize the truth, and I speak it. I am thankful for it all. I release it and I let it go. And so it is. And so it is. I know it is. And I see it as I believe. Amen. Amen. Amen.
And let us stay with that. And so it is. And so it is. As we breathe in and we breathe out, we know that we are breathing that breath of God, that breath of the divine that is healing, that is loving, that is powerful, that is magnificent. And so it is. And so it is that the presence of the divine is here right now, in this very moment, in this very moment. We are all that divine. We are that presence of a loving and powerful God. We are creative. We are part of creation. And that's here right now. And so it is. And so I speak my words of gratitude, knowing that our church home is flourishing, is abundant and prosperous, and that each presence of the divine right here is also present, prosperous, and abundant, healthy, loving, supportive. Just breathe in that God divine. Breathe it in and breathe it out. Feel your heartbeat, knowing that is the heartbeat of the universe. There is divine right order in every moment, in every situation. And right now we bless it. We bless this day. We bless Mary. We bless all who are here. And for that, we are grateful. And so simply, as I release these words into that divine law, knowing that it says yes. The universe says yes to our words, yes to our thoughts. We let it go and we say together, and so it is.
So it is.
Okay. Mary's talk is you are a work of art. I keep wanting to say a piece of art, but sometimes that's a different connotation. And I know sometimes we're pieces, but rarely we're just a real total work of art. So this is from 365 Days with Ernest Holmes. I imbibe new ideas from the creativity of God, and greater works than these shall ye do also. God, since God is all there is, the only presence, the only power, and the only mind or intelligence, when we conceive a new idea, we are thinking directly from the creativity of God. We are merely the instrument through which this projection takes place, and we are in partnership with the projector. God is really in the latest convention, in the newest song, in the latest novel, in the last picture that was painted, and in that feeling we have of new and greater and better things to come. God is both the inventor of the game and those who play in it, the author and actor, the singer and the song. So today I imbibe new ideas from the creativity of God. My whole consciousness is alive and awake and aware. I expect new ways of doing things. I expect to meet new people, form new friendships. I expect everything in my experience to enlarge and deepen and broaden. I expect more good than I have ever experienced before. And today I expect to give out more, to increase my love for others. Today I expect from myself a more gentle approach to life, a more kindly feeling, a more beneficent impulse. New thoughts, new ideas, new people, new situations, new ways of doing things, and a new influx of the divine will make this day glad, perfect, and expressive of limitless bounty from the storehouse of the infinite good. I am a work of art. We are works of art, and we need to remind ourselves of that every day. Anytime we have any doubt or concern, just remember that we are created from this divine substance, this source that is creative of all things, and it is all good. And we are that. And so it is.
So it is. And now our guest artist, Cecilia.
Good morning. Good morning.
Wow. What a gift. What a gift your playing is, and what a gift you are. Thank you, Cecilia. Okay, are you ready? You are a work of art. Oh, good. She already got the message ahead of time. I want you to say right now to yourself, I am a work of art. With a little more gusto than that. Okay, how about like really convince me? I am a work of art. Now I want you to look at your neighbor and say, you are a work of art. Okay, now you looked at that person. Now you got to look at somebody else and go, now you are a work of art. Now remember, you're not convincing them. You're just telling them. You're just telling the truth, right? You're just telling the truth. The way that I got the title for this talk was because when I was in Chicago visiting my family, one of the many, many things that on our excursions we did is we went to the museum, the Art Institute. Have you ever heard of the Chicago Art? Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, I hadn't been there in a couple of years, and they have the most amazing collection of impressionists, which I really love. But my sister is into Salvador Dali, and there's another artist, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, his name is Joseph Cornell. He makes these artistic boxes, which are brilliant. They have one of the biggest collection of Joseph Cornell boxes that you've ever seen. So I was so excited that when I knew exactly where it was. It was like, thank God they hadn't changed anything. And you go up these stairs. And when you go up the stairs, right on the wall, which is a wall about probably 3/4 of the size of that wall, there is this beautiful stained glass. And it's this beautiful piece of artwork. And then you walk into the room, and there are all the Monets. Even when I say it, I have my God bumps, my truth bumps. I had tears in my eyes. My sister's like, are you all right? I'm like, I'm going to start bawling. I was so excited to see those paintings. And I thought, my God, I absolutely just love looking at them and standing in front of a painting and going, Monet probably stood right here when he was painting with his brush. Just imagine he was right here. And as we're standing there, there was a docent there, and he had a whole group of folks that were from a foreign country. We couldn't figure out what language they were speaking, but he was expressing to them, saying it in English and saying it to them in their language. And he was dissecting the paintings. And he did this in the daylight, and he did this because of this and that and the other. And I'm like, oh, shut up. You know, like, God, you want to just appreciate, I'm sorry, you just want to appreciate the painting, you know, and just wanted to feel it. So we're sitting there. My sister's like, all right, you've been standing in front of that painting of the river with the mountain for about 5 minutes. Are we going to move on? I'm like, yes, we're moving on. So the fun of it, though, was seeing that, you know, the different artists, the many, many different artists. With the Joseph Cornell, which was amazing, they had moved all of his works and they put it in this room, and the room was totally dark. It was like so dark you could not. I took a picture with my flash because you couldn't even barely see the boxes, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And finally, the one gal in the room said, oh, we haven't finished the art display. We just got them on the wall. We haven't done the lighting. I'm like, thank God, because you couldn't even see the boxes. And I said, wow, you know, and they were amazing little vignettes with little stories in this box of, like, you know, a little bird egg and a little thing. Just amazing, amazing stuff. But the point was is that when I was thinking about just my memory there, right before I moved away from Chicago, I had just gotten accepted to the Art Institute. So I was like, my heart was just panging when I was there. But I was thinking about Monet. And if you think about him, he began his life in poverty, but, you know, he was known as the father of Impressionism. And as a result, he enjoyed this great notoriety while he was alive. And he made some real serious money selling his artwork and teaching people, etc. So he was actually known, and he had considered to be made it, right, with his art. Then you look at a guy like Van Gogh, and you stand at the Van Gogh paintings, and boy, you could see the intensity with his paint strokes. And literally we could get that close. In fact, we took a portrait of ourselves with the Van Gogh portrait. So we were standing with Van Gogh at that moment. But the deal is, when you look at it, you could see the brush strokes and you could just feel the energy of that painting. He sold one painting in his whole life. He was never known in his whole life as an artist until after he was dead. Now, same work, same stuff. Now it's like worth $1 bazillion, and he's really, really famous for it. But he was not known during his life. But you know what? It didn't stop him. He still created his artwork. He still had that as a purpose, even though there was no notoriety around it. Feel the difference? Like Monet was fueled by not only his artwork, but also that he got the feedback and the acknowledgement that what he was doing was worthwhile. Whereas Van Gogh kept going, and a lot of other artists kept going without the attention, without the money, without the means to support themselves, but they still did their work because they were driven. Now the point is, no matter what it is that we do, it's always worthwhile because we're not what we produce, we are who we are. And in this teaching, it reminds us we're God's child. We are born of the Spirit. We are each a unique expression of God. So no matter what you do, you can't do it wrong because you're God personified. And I don't know if you woke up this morning and looked at yourself and said, you are a work of art. But I encourage you every day this week now, you have to look in the mirror, look at yourself, even if you see a little spot over here or you're losing your hair, or your hair's going, whatever it is, you just look and go, you are a work of art. You are a unique work of art. And everything that you do is of value. And your only purpose is to appreciate life, to be that expression, to acknowledge that expression. Doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what you're doing, right? Because here were two artists. One was acknowledged and one was not, but their artwork was them. It was their expression. It was who they were, right? We're so much more than what we produce. We are all expressions of the infinite mind, and our primary purpose is to awaken to this truth. Think about that. Our primary purpose is to awaken to the truth that you are an expression of God, and no matter what happens, no matter what you do, you are always an expression of God. Always, always. Each of us is a unique manifestation. So the fact that when we explore that, just identifying what is it that I came here for? What is it that I want to express? Who am I? And what is it that I'm doing? I saw a TED talk a while ago of a guy that was an artist, and he considered himself a walking work of art. And he made clothing out of things that he had collected. Some of them were garbage bags, some of them were beer cans, some of them were diamonds, some of them were amazing jewelry pieces that he had gotten from his grandparents' antique shop. And he had armor on, he had pieces of armor on, and he said, I'm a work of art. And every day I wake up, I am a work of art. I'm a living expression of work of art. And he goes, my purpose is to remind people that each of them are a work of art, no matter what they look like, no matter how they are. He goes, I've had a lot of things happen. He goes, I've been bullied, I've been spit on. He goes, I was even stabbed once. He goes, people tell me they love what I do. People tell me they hate what I do. He goes, but I do it because I am. And he was moved by that. He did it just because he is. And that's such a beautiful way to live. It encourages us, just be authentic. You don't have to model yourself after anybody. You just follow your own song. But it's important to dial into what that song is. And how do we dial in? Through meditation, through visioning, through prayer, through coming together as a community, from being in a like-minded community that raises your vibration of life to go, I am loved by a spirit that wants nothing more of me than to identify my God self and live to that truth. Wow, doesn't that take the weight off you? Now think about it. Some people think, oh, my purpose is to go, be an attorney or be a doctor or to do all these magnificent things. Well, guess what? You're magnificent just the way you are, just as you are. When we explore living fully what it means to us, when we really begin to take a look at a purpose, understanding our purpose and that it can change from day to day. I don't know about you, but I was on the trajectory to go to the Art Institute. Well, I moved to Idaho instead, and life became different. Now, I'll tell you an interesting story about that, which I kind of had forgotten about. So when I I lived in Idaho for about 7.5, 8 years, and I moved here. And I thought, I worked so hard at going to school. I had all this classes I took and all this stuff. And I said, but I never got my degree. So I said, you know what? I'm here. I'm going to get my degree. I'm going to get my degree. So I called the University of Idaho and I said, I just need a transference of all my credits because I've decided I'm going to pursue my degree. And I was pursuing 2 degrees at the time when I was in Idaho. And I said, I can just focus on one. I just want to get the degree. And the gal goes, okay, I'll call you back. And she was at admissions. She calls me back a day or two later and she said, I don't know how to tell you this. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm probably going to have to start from square one. I was like awfulizing, how we do. And she said, you have so many credits. You have enough credit for 2 degrees. And I said, I do? And she said, yeah, now this was like 5 years after I moved here. And so think about it. All that time, I didn't know I had a degree. And I had the degree the whole time. I have my truth bumps again. And I said, holy cow, isn't that interesting? So she said, okay, when they arranged all this stuff, and they mailed me my certificate. And my friends actually gave me a party. They gave me a graduation party, and I wore my hat, and I flipped the thing over from the left to the right. We did the whole thing, and I thought, isn't it interesting? I'm still the same person I was 5 minutes before I knew that, right? Van Gogh was still the same artist 5 minutes before he sold his first painting. Monet was still the same artist before he was ever recognized. It's the same with you and I. It's not what we do. It's who we are when we're doing it. Feel that? It's who we are when we're doing it. My one dear friend was married, and he and his wife never had children. And his wife wound up having early onset Alzheimer's. And they were very devoted to each other. They were married for a very long time. And he said, eventually his wife lost the ability to speak. She even lost most of the time, didn't even recognize him. And he had help, and the help would come in. The hospice help would come in. The hospice was there for a long time to help him. And he was going to groups, like discussing how to handle it and stuff like that. And he goes, I'm going to tell you something. I was never more in love with my wife than the time that I spent with her. She didn't know who I was. She couldn't speak. She couldn't eat. I had to change her diapers. And he said, I was never more in love with her at that time. He goes, I felt such a bond with her. And I thought, isn't that what it's about? Just being present sometime to the moment, being present to the moment. Not about producing anything, not about what you're going to do in life, just being present. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but when we were growing up, I wasn't encouraged, just be present to all the love in the world and you will feel fulfilled. No, they're like, you got to get your degree, you got to do this, you got to do whatever it is, right? You got to get the right job, you got to make the right amount of money, live in the neighborhood, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Guess what? The very first thing is being true to yourself, being authentic to, I am an expression of God. How about saying that? I am an expression of God. Expression of God. Remember, I am a work of art, right? Let us be open to the possibility that each new moment brings, embracing the journey with curiosity and willingness. Now, I don't know about you, but has anybody else ever made mistakes? Yeah, I think I'm in that boat. Guess what? There are no mistakes. I know that sounds crazy. There are no wrong decisions. You go, wait a minute. I took a left here, and my whole life could have gone, hey, I moved to Idaho and could have gone to the Art Institute. God only knows what I would have done, right? But guess what? I did what I did. I painted in Idaho. I did all kinds of stuff in Idaho. So you know what? When we stay open and receptive to following the guidance of our own inner compass that leads us to our best and highest, guess what? That's our purpose. That's what it is. It's not going out there and finding stuff, right? It's not finding the things. Science of Mind teaches us that our worth is not dependent on our external achievements, even though we have been taught from square one that that's what it's about, right? The purpose of living. I'm going to read you this quote from this lovely little book called The Psalm for the Wild Built. It's by Becky Chambers. You keep asking why your work is not enough, and I don't know how to answer that because it is enough to exist in the world and just marvel at it. You don't need to justify that or earn it. You are allowed to just live. I have wants and ambitions too, but if I fulfill none of them, that's okay because I know that no matter what, I'm wonderful. How about that? I'm wonderful. Oh, that wasn't convincing. Oh boy, come on, convince me. Come on. I am wonderful. And when you say that, if you wake up in the morning like you're with your ta-da, like I'm wonderful. My cat, I know he thinks I'm nuts. He looks at me like, what? We're what? I'm like wonderful. So he's going to be speaking to me any day now. I'm sure of it. He talks all the time meowing, but I'm sure. So the purpose of living at its most fundamental level is life itself, not what you do, not what you do. So you get to decide your purpose and you can't decide wrong. We have the opportunity to explore if we want to. Just let everything go. My friend David Alt, Reverend Dr. David Alt, wrote a beautiful song and it said, I'm here to remind you of your magnificence. I'm here to remind you, I have to sing this song. I'm here to remind you of how great you are in life, how beautiful you are. I'm just here to remind you. How about you look at your neighbor and go, I'm here to remind you, you could say it to Teddy too, of your magnificence. How about that? I mean, did you say that to anybody lately or yourself? Heaven forbid. You know what? When you start with that energy, what happens? You all of a sudden, you feel your blood flowing in your body. And it's like, okay, it's not another ho-hum day. It's like, wow, this is it, man. This is it. Mistakes are detours and not failures, but they're rather the integral parts of our journey, offering us lessons and experience that shape who we are. Now, think about painting for a second. In painting classes, a lot of times, my friend was showing me, she just started painting and she did a still life. She's never painted before in her life. And she goes, I feel bummed. You know, my apple doesn't look like an apple and my pear sure the heck doesn't look like a pear. She goes, I kind of got the colors right. I go, who cares? She goes, well, I care. I want the apple to look like an apple. It's like, okay, you'll get better at that. We'll get proficient at things. But sometimes when stuff is out of balance, you know what you do? You take your canvas and you turn it upside down. And then you look to see, how is that line? Let's see that shape. What's that shadow over here? What's this? Da, da, da. Okay, so you've turned your painting upside down. Think about it if we got the same instruction to do that with our life. Oh, just turn your life upside down. And you're going to see where it kind of balances out. It's like, okay, I have turned my life upside down. And sometimes we do, don't we? Our life gets turned upside down and we go, The other day, I had driven down to Redondo Beach and I did a talk and a workshop and we had a great time, blah, 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 blah. I stopped. I thought, well, I'm going to get gas before I get on what I call the sanctuary known as the 110 freeway. Because it's always a crazy little freeway. And I said, I'm just going to get some gas before I go. So I get gas and I get this, you ought to check your tires. I'm like, check my tires. I'm like, okay. So I check and I go, oh, there's this giant bolt in my tire. I mean, honestly, the thing was like, the head of it was like that big. And I'm like smack dab in the middle of that tire. And I'm like, okay. So I'm looking at the tire and it says assurance. That's the name of the tire. Assurance. And I'm like, okay, am I going to have the assurance to know that I can drive home with that bolt when I have no idea when it got in there and do that? Am I going to do that? I'm like, because it's now like 5:30, 6 o'clock on a Sunday before Labor Day. So it's like, the likelihood of things being able to be fixed right now are not real keen. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to know with assurance that I drive home perfectly and I find the right tires. That's exactly what happened. I drove home, the tire didn't blow out. I went to the place the next day, I got more assurance tires. But sometimes things, and I said, oh, what does that cause me to do? And I thought, you know what? I had all these plans of all these things I was going to do, and I had to put it on the back burner and just sit and be. So I spent several days in the tire shop because they had to order them and blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And I sat in the tire shop. And I talked to this gal. I blessed everybody. I blessed the tires. It was like 1,000,000 degrees out. I'm blessing these guys that are in their long sleeves and working. I said, oh, that's what I'm here to do. Just bless things. Maybe that's all I'm here to do. And I just stayed in that moment and blessed things. Sometimes it's as simple as that. I don't know about you, but we put a big assignment on ourselves. I got to get this done. I got to get that done. And the day won't be accomplished unless I get that closet cleaned out. And it's like, you know what? The closet will be there tomorrow, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it. I was thinking of another thing. My grandmother, I got together with some cousins and we were talking about our grandmother on my mom's side, Grandma Tilly, Matilda. She was an amazing cook. And you would ask her, oh, could you write down that recipe? And she'd be like, well, she would make Liebkuchen cookies. Have you ever heard of those? The stuff made with molasses? Well, she would make Liebkuchen cookies that were so amazing. And one time I tried it, and it was like super glue. It was like, because when you put that molasses in and you have to stir it, mine did not work out. She was known for her devil's food cake, all from scratch, her angel sunshine cake, all from scratch, her gravy and her mashed potatoes, we'd go like, how do you make your gravy like that? She's like, well, it's the spoon. I'm like, it's not the spoon. And then you'd follow the recipe to the absolute letter, and it wouldn't come out. But you know what it was? It's not the end product. It's the magic that goes into the recipe. And that magic is you. So anything that we do, it's the magic of you that's expressing. And that's why the recipes will never take us like grandma made, because she was putting her magic into it. And the magic is that life essence, that effervescence that we put into things. And that's the beauty of it, is dialing into that. That's all the universe says. Just dial into who you are and whose you are. That's all you do. You dial into that. We can't choose, we cannot choose wrong when it comes to our purpose. Mistakes, again, are just the detours. But the famous marketer, his name was Guy Kawasaki. He had remember that song, Don't Worry, Be Happy? His was, Don't Worry, Be Crappy. And I'm like, what? And what he meant was, allow yourself to make the mistakes. Don't not do something because you're worried about the mistake you're going to make. Let yourself go crazy. Let yourself draw outside the lines, right? Because some of the artwork in the Art Institute, we went to the modern section. We spent a lot of time in the surrealism and the Georgia O'Keeffe stuff. You can't miss that. And there were so many, we spent so many hours there. We were starving. So we said, okay, we got to go because we're starving, and we got to get home before the dark thing happens. So at any rate, we were so enthralled with some of the pieces of work were just scribbles on canvas. And my sister's stepdaughter was like, well, what do you think was going on with him? I'm like, well, he might have been chasing a fly with a crayon. Who knows what he was doing? But it was so fun to look at, to watch this energy that was put on canvas. It was a love letter to the universe, actually, is all it was. So you are valuable and worthy simply because you exist. That's it. That's the message. You're valuable and you're worthy simply because you exist. Life's purpose is to be fully present and engaged in the experience of living. And we realize that our existence alone is our testament to our intrinsic value. I was writing right before we came in here, in the effort of time, what is my purpose right now? Did you ever ask yourself, what's my purpose right now? Our purpose is not a fixed destination, but a dynamic journey. Every day it changes. Every single day it changes. What's my purpose today? It's to do a workshop. It's to be present. It's to send love out and feel the energy. Boy, when I walk in this room, I do feel the energy. When it's empty in here and dark, I come sometimes and just bless the whole space. I just bless it and infuse it with light and love. And I see things being full and vibrant and alive. It could just be that our purpose is to just be simply present to each other and the message and be the message itself. I wrote a whole bunch of little things here before there's a Visa ad. There was a Visa commercial that said, every step takes you to where you want to be. Did you ever think about that? Every step you take takes you to where you want to be. That's a pretty good one. The natural flow of life will take you where you want to go. But the big deal is we have to allow it. We have to listen to that voice. That means getting quiet. That means paying attention to what makes my heart sing. What do I want to do today? Who do I want to be in the world today? How do I want to react to things? How do I want to be present to things or not present to things? And that's okay too. The great mystic Meister Eckhart had said, if the only prayer that you say today is thank you, you've accomplished everything. Think about that. If all you do today is say thank you for my health, Thank you for my wealth. Thank you for this center. Thank you for the people I'm sitting with. Thank you for the energy. Thank you for the food we're about to eat, the workshop. Thank you. Just say thank you. It gets you in that vibration, that lifted feeling of, you know what? I do have a purpose here and I'm expressing it right here and now. And you know those people that are on board and those that are not. And if you're around people that aren't on board, lift them up. Say something to them. Say, you're a work of art. You're amazing. You are worthy of so much. There's this prayer. I center myself in the Christ consciousness, that God self within, and I go forth as the heart and the hands of love in this world. Say with me, I am worthy. I am valuable simply because I am. That's the truth. I know it right now. I am a work of art. And so it is. Thank you very much. There you go. All right. And now we welcome up our guest artist, Cecilia, once again. We are work of art. We are work of art. We are expressions of art. And for my second piece, this was Ashwin's one. I am inviting you to back to relax. You can close your eyes, and I'm inviting you to go to your favorite place and have a commune with God, conversation with God, thanking Him for a blessing and more blessings to come. So beautiful. Thank you so much. This is the time of our sharing of our gifts and our treasure and our tithe. It's our offertory, and we thank you in advance, knowing that everything that you give towards this center grows towards growing it, creating it, attracting like minds, and just keeping the flow going. So let's say together our offertory affirmation. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, bless, and prosper all those who give and all those who receive. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of this spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. Thank you. All righty, now our ushers will go forward. We're just knowing that, I don't know about you, but I can feel the energy in this center always growing. And we're growing in numbers for sure. We've almost got 30 people here again, which is doubled from what it was a year ago. So that's amazing in itself. And so we thank you for being here. We thank you for contributing your time, your talent, and your treasure for growing this center and keeping it afloat. And we're knowing that it's always working out for our best and our highest good. We're going to have our song, I Am So Blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so thankful for all that I have. I am so I am so blessed. I am so thankful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so thankful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so thankful. I am so blessed. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. We'll wait for them to come back and let's get in our seats and know as we have this benediction, this prayer, as we go forward today. Teddy's ready to go forward. I can see that. He's looking around. He's saying, I'm a work of art. He is a work of art. Yes, indeed. So this is what I know for each and every one of us. This power that I know as God, that divine creative intelligence lives, moves, and has its being as me. I am one with this power. I am one with this presence. And today, I focus my awareness on the idea that I am a work of art. I am a divine idea in the mind of God, and I came here to express the love that I uniquely am born with, knowing that the world would not be the same without each and every one of us. I appreciate my life. I appreciate my challenges. I appreciate the goodness in life. And I know that all of it leads me on a journey to my best and highest expression of life. And so as I move through my day, I remind myself that God is and I am. And in that knowing, all is well. It is with joy that I release this prayer. It is in gratitude that I acknowledge my wellness of being. And I know my truth, knowing that this is acted upon by the word of God, by the action of the law of mind. I let it be so. And together we say, and so it is. And now we'll have our peace song. Give us a minute to line up. Let there be peace on earth, and it has has begun with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Peace has begun with me, so this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth. Now it has begun with me. Yay! All righty, thank you. Good prayer. Oops.